Moin, meine Kampfkumpelzwerge und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer weiteren Folge von Sherlock Holmes, ihr Lieben. Wir sind immer noch aktiv im Fall vom Ritualmord, so rum. Und wir haben jetzt gerade die Dame befragt, hinter mir den Manchios oder so ähnlich. Dies war mein Raum. Und wir gehen jetzt zum Mr. Vogel. Noch nicht ganz, denn wir biegen jetzt links oder rechts ab. Oh. Oh, und das seht ihr gerade. Wie peinlich. Hätte ich auch da drüben reingehen können? Nee, die ist zu.
What a bunch of losers.
Ja, oder? Erbärmlicher Haufen.
Werner, are you all right?
Oh, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go. They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not. Anyway, I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
Ich vertraue den Vogel nicht. Ich finde ihn sehr, sehr merkwürdig.
There are lines I will not cross, Werner. I will do my best to secure your release, but with proof, not deception.
Really? How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another?
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope.
Ich lüge doch nicht. Kannst mich mal.
I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I can't follow you here. I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I'm not supposed to know anything about this.
Aber über sie
I don't
doch
think I
nicht.
can tell you anything about this.
Ich glaube, das ist jetzt
I can't
zickig.
follow you here. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I'm not supposed to know anything about this.
Ich glaube, das ist zickig jetzt.
I have learned who told the police about the crime. It was Santos Pinchetti,
Do I know him?
the major domo of the manor. He cleans up after you.
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him. I know you can untangle this mess.
So. Kann ich doch mal die Frau befragen?
I know I can handle the news.
Hält da jemand hinter mir gerade die Knarre hin? Krass, ich kann hier überall rein. Einfach mal Sachen klauen. Warum denn nicht?
Don't look at them. They'll serve us if necessary.
I'll visit you later.
Oh.
I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I've nothing to say about this. I've nothing to say about this. You'd better ask me a question.
Einfach mal
I know how to
durchgehen.
answer. You'd better ask me a question I know how to answer. You'd better ask me a question I know how to answer.
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here.
Ich gehe nicht weg.
They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
You can question Mr. Pinchetti in the interrogation room.
Na dann, darf ich mich umziehen? Bitte. Sonst denken die alle, dass ich hier noch Spaß habe. Kann ich hier lang?
This area is restricted.
Boah, ist ja schon okay. So, Verhörraum Nummer 7. Dürfte der hier sein? Kabum. Was habe ich denn hier? So. Schlüssel.
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
Eine kurze Notiz, die dem Testament beigefügt wurde, lautet: Santos, mein närrischer Faulpetz. Du hast mich angefleht, dich in meinem Testament zu berücksichtigen, und das habe ich hiermit getan. Aber die aktuelle Fassung meines Testaments, Code. Ein Auszug aus dem Testament lautet: Sondern mein Hausmeister des erhält ein Glas Bartwix und eine Salzlampe, damit er sich stets an seinen Okay.
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
Ja, dann wollen wir ihn mal beobachten. Hautentzündung, Schuppenflechte oder Allergie. Mehrmals repariert. Das sieht ja echt erbärmlich aus, ne? Oh, Blut. Ist der oberste Diener auf den, obwohl er die höchste Position unter dem Bediensteten. Sein Körper zeigt Anzeichen von Schuppenflechte verbirgt. Kranke Haut unter Schminke. Der Anzug des... Haushofs. Was? Hä, ich bin gerade... Ist der oberste Diener, obwohl er die höchste Position unter den Bediensteten im Haus hat, scheint er vergleichsweise arm zu sein. Müsste über ausreichend Geld für das alltägliche Leben zu verfügen, gibt aber zu wie möglich davon aus. Unreinheiten seines Körpers. Ich weiß es jetzt gerade nicht, ne?
You are the major domo of a rich mansion, and you seem barely able to afford decent clothing. You hide under heavy makeup a skin disease that might be treated with more onerous but less harmful means. Do you have money troubles?
I do not have a lot of means. The pay is below what you might expect.
But you could easily change your job if your employer does not meet your elementary needs.
One can change his employer, that is true.
And the blood on your shoe, where does that come from?
I don't actually know. Perhaps from a guest?
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always Fabio-centric.
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker, She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose. I can't help you.
Oh, das ist aber lieb von dir.
I can't help you. Don't expect me to know anything about it.
Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a major domo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love. Cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a major domo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship. Please let me out.
Ah, er rückt sehr in die Tatverdächtiger-Rolle. Oh, das kommt schon saugut bei denen hin, ne? Oh, ist das schwer. Ach du meine Güte, ich komme zu nichts, ne? Ich glaube, Penchetti könnte es gewesen sein, weil er eifersüchtig war auf ihn. Die Matista glaube ich nicht, weil sie ihn kannte, also zu lange. Also ich glaube nicht dran.
I've no idea about that.
So, aber
That's
darüber.
not something I know much about.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him. I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him.
Arschgeige.
I know I can handle the news.
Haben wir einen neuen Fall bekommen? So, was hast du
The
dazu zu
air
sagen?
here is rather refreshing. I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
Please let me out.
Nein, du bleibst schön hier, Kumpel.
Continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
Ach du meine Güte.
Did you hear Basilio Coppello is in jail? A dead body was found.
Tod Tresor. Tod Tresor.
Did you hear Basilio?
Armer. Ach du meine Güte. Ein mitgehörtes Gespräch weckte meine Neugier. Inhaber der bekannten Sicherheitsfirma wurde festgenommen. Er befindet sich in einer misslichen Lage, da in seinem Firmengebäude eine Leiche in einem wurde.
In the police. Let's pretend to be cops, eh? We can just stand around and look confused.
Die feiern hier alle. Hey.
Good day. Your ticket, please, if you want me to help you. Don't you understand what a ticket is? Don't you
Ja,
understand what a
ich
ticket
werde
is?
es aber trotzdem alles durchgehen,
Don't
damit
waste
wir
my time.
sicher
This
gehen
is
können,
not a
dass wir
ticket.
alles mitgenommen haben.
Don't waste my time. Don't you understand what a ticket is? Don't waste my time. Don't you understand what a ticket is?
Backen.
This is not a ticket. Don't you understand what a ticket is? This is not a ticket. Don't you understand what a ticket is? Don't waste my time. This is not a ticket. This is not a ticket. This is not a ticket. Don't you understand what a ticket is? Don't waste my time. This is not a ticket. This is not a ticket.
Oh. Ja,
I'd
hier.
like to
Sorry.
take evidence from this case.
And who are you?
Ich habe was anderes
Oswald sent
verstanden.
me. I'm a consulting detective.
His partner, then? Let me see. Ah, a ritual murder. What a bunch of degenerates. Wait a second. I'll bring it to the table.
Ich dachte, ich muss jetzt die einzelnen Beweise erfragen. Oh. Deswegen war ich gerade so ein bisschen und habe alles durchgenommen.
That's not for bedtime reading. This ex libris belongs to Manchios Library.
Bei der Filmmann fand die Polizei dieses okkulte Buch in ihrer Tasche. Mit den zufolge stammt das Buch aus Bibliothek. Es beinhaltet Beschreibung. Bereite den nackten Körper der kürzlich verstorbenen Person vor. Male Symbole der Planeten Mars und Venus auf, um die Kraft, die du besitzt, zu verstärken. Und um dir die Kraft der männlichen und weiblichen Natur zu Nutzen zu machen. Durchbohre das Herz der Person mit einem goldenen Deutsch, um das Blut entweichen zu lassen, das dich nicht liebt. Male ein Symbol auf, das deine Liebe... Sage, während du auf die Wiederbelebung wartest, die Zauberformel.
The book describes a ritual similar to the one performed in the altar room.
Jetzt rückt sie sehr, sehr stark in den
A
Verdacht.
handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings. Her key to the altar room.
Wartet mal.
A handcrafted charm that contains hair and nail clippings.
Sie ist jetzt gerade sehr verdächtig geworden.
A heavily perfumed handkerchief with the initials KM in the corner. It's a miracle this ruby hasn't tempted anyone. All the keys of the mansion on one golden ring.
Was haben wir denn hier? Was fällt Ihnen eigentlich ein? Sie können Ihre einfach nicht in Zaun halten, zumindest nicht in meiner Nähe. Für mich ist es ein viel zu großes Risiko geworden, solch ein Verhalten einfach hinzunehmen. Es geht niemandem etwas an, mit wem ich rede, spiele oder zusammen bin. Da hat sich niemand einzumischen. Ich lasse mir nicht alles gefallen wie Matista. Sie bezahlen mich, aber deswegen bin ich noch lange nicht ihr Eigentum. Natürlich werde ich ihr großzügiges Geschenk behalten, auch wenn sie ihren letzten fürchterlichen Ausbruch nicht...
Not the time for privacy.
Oh.
An emergency kit for boredom. Werner's personal sketchbook. Thank you, officer.
Oh, nee, oder? Das müssen wir jetzt abklären. Ach du Kacke. Oh, jetzt sind schon wieder alle so ein bisschen verdächtig, ne?
Let's continue our chat at a
Sorry, falscher Knopf.
Could Fabio have written this letter to Kurt Manchos?
Oh. That could be. I never thought Mr. Manchos could make Fabio that angry, though.
What do you mean?
Well, Fabio wanted to disassociate from Mr. Manchos. Clients who are in love are both a blessing and a curse.
But Fabio was here tonight.
Money. In our line of work, we can't afford to turn down clients who pay as well as Kurt Manchos.
Was Fabio afraid of Mr. Manchos?
Not at all. The old toad wouldn't dare to do more than sweet talk and touching. Talk can be forgotten, and touching washed away. I don't know what to say.
This book, The Power of Love, Blood and Mandrake, what do you hope to achieve?
To learn more about the invisible strengths that govern us. Occultism is real. The master who fell that night when Fabio and I escaped, I made him fall. I cast a spell on him and it worked.
Or was it a coincidence?
The universe is rarely so lazy.
If you say so. Do you practice occult rituals?
For protection? For fortune? To wash away the ugliness of the world? Sometimes to survive. I have the gift, and I'm learning to use it better.
Did you use your gift on Fabio?
I only used white magic. Love charms lately. Fabio became so distant. I just wanted him to be with me, but I suppose I'm not as skilled as I thought.
Ach du Scheiße, Leute. Ach du, Fabio brach Kot das Herz. Ich habe keine Ahnung, ne?
Do you recognize this book? Could Matista have borrowed it from your library?
She didn't ask me. How ungrateful.
The things described in the book were inspiration for the rituals you performed?
Do you really believe that blood, symbols, and incantations can resurrect the dead? They are just eerie tales with a mix of occultism and voodoo. My rituals are a stage to show some of the forbidden pleasures.
There is undeniable evidence that you were the original recipient of this letter.
What are you talking about? Is it addressed to me?
Your protege wanted a fresh start, it seems. This is sufficient to charge you.
Me? Hurt my star? Are you insane that you would accuse me of such a thing?
He did not consider himself as yours. Since you deny everything, let's move on. Do you have any idea as to how the letter could have ended up in Mr. Vogel's pocket?
You were the detective. Perhaps he took it from Fabio. Werner was a little high.
Oh, du Scheiß. Oh. Oh, das ist sehr kompliziert.
Please let me out.
I have reason to believe that the intended recipient of the incriminating letter may have been Kurt Manchos.
Well, that makes sense. Too bad I can't remember how I came to possess it. Though I did spend quite some time with Mr. Manchios during the party.
Unfortunately, even with an answer, that may still not be enough to clear you with the police. But fear not, I will persevere.
I hope your attempt to put things straight will make up for...
You being on a bender?
Touché. The air here is rather refreshing.
Hm. Ach du Scheiße. Er musste seinen schrecklichen Onkel loswerden, um für Gerechtigkeit zu sorgen. Er darf für den Mord nicht ungeschoren davonkommen, sollte nach einer Haftstrafe jedoch die Chance erhalten, ein neues Leben zu beginnen. Santos verlor den Verstand. Nach Jahren der Demütigung wollte er mit dem Mord an Fabio seinen Onkel loswerden. Elend und Verzweiflung rechtfertigen jedoch keinen Mord. Um Gottes Willen, nein. Also Geigen, Ach du Scheiße, der hat eigentlich schon genug gelitten. Also ich würde ihn eher in die Haft dann stecken. Aber die sind alle verdächtig. Also Matista glaube ich nicht. Matista ist einfach nur verschossen in den Typ gewesen und hat irgendwie versucht, ihn für sich zu gewinnen. Aber einen Mord würde ich nicht bei ihr sehen. Der Manchios, wie der heißt, der hat, glaube ich, ihn viel zu sehr geliebt, um ihn zu töten. Auch wenn er ein Arschloch ist. Und Santos Pinchetti, der ist halt derjenige, der am meisten gelitten hat, unter allem. Und er hat einen Blutfleck. Also, er müsste es gewesen sein, weil im Altarraum war nirgendwo Blut. Der muss eigentlich in der Nähe von der Leiche gewesen sein. Besser gesagt, als die Person erstochen wurde und ermordet wurde. Eigentlich müsste es Pinchetti gewesen sein. Ich würde ihn aber nicht deswegen an Geigen hängen. Ich glaube, das ist er. Er hat den meisten Grund, denjenigen zu töten. Aber warum tötet er dann Fabio und nicht sein Onkel? Na okay, er bekommt kein Erbe ab. Ah. Oh, ich weiß nicht, ob es irgendwann da noch aufgelöst wird. Oh, nein, das war richtig.
I'd even recommend that some of my friends visit the place.
I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
I know I can handle the news.
Doof ist, dass man nicht herausfinden kann, ob es jetzt richtig ist oder nicht.
This letter proves nothing. Fabio wrote it to Mr. Manchios. It's time to free Mr. Vogel.
Do you really think I'm that naive? I need proof, not words from his friend.
Very well. Mr. Pinchetti told me that Mr. Manchios was lavishing Fabio with expensive and eccentric gifts. The letter mentions rich rewards and attempts to buy Fabio with them. It was written to Mr. Manchios. Who else was showering Fabio with luxuries to buy him? It doesn't fit Mr. Vogel's character.
Look here. We had a deal. Give me the murderer and then take your friend with you. I won't budge otherwise.
Well, fine, but you're just wasting time.
Ich bin mir so
Continue our
unsicher.
investigation while I look for the papers.
Ich bin mir so absolut unsicher. Oh, scheiße, ist ein Spiel. Hakuna Matata. Wobei er eigentlich wirklich am meisten Und die Reichen kommen immer irgendwie gut weg, ne? Ach, scheiße, ist ein Spiel. Wie gesagt, es sind alle... Er ist der Einzige, der Blut hat. Gut, er war auch der Erste, aber der muss ganz nah an der Person gewesen sein.
I know who killed Fabio.
So I'm free to go, sir?
Quite the opposite. I think it was you, Mr. Pinchetti.
That is not possible.
Allow me to explain.
Von den Gästen. Aber welcher Gast würde sich...
The blood on your shoe tells me that you were with Fabio. You stabbed him with the dagger while he was still alive. You drew a sigil on him. There was a great deal of blood. You needed to remove it. Blood is almost like glue. It sticks to everything, dries quickly, and is quite visible. But you know how to handle stains. You are Kurt Manchios's major domo. However, despite your best efforts, you missed a spot.
It doesn't make sense, sir. I was never there. I am convinced there's a reasonable explanation.
You wanted to be rid of your dear uncle. I myself barely know him and already find him intolerable. You've worked for him for years. Santos, do this. Santos, do that. He doesn't pay you. He doesn't recognize your work. He doesn't see you as family. But you thought that heritage might be yours. Instead, all you'll ever receive is mustache wax. It is painful to witness such a situation. I cannot imagine how it must be for you. So you decided to frame your uncle. Put the blame for Fabio's murder on him. That way, the heritage is yours, and you are free of him.
Half of what you say is true. I'm in pain. I have had a hard time with my uncle, but I'm not a murderer. I can't even stand up to my uncle. How could I have killed Fabio? He did nothing to me.
He was a source of your troubles too, though. Especially since Mr. Manchios treated him like a king.
Oh, jetzt habe ich schon wieder ein schlechtes Gewissen.
You staged this decadent ritual so you would not be suspected. After a short fight, you knocked Fabio unconscious. You locked the door and dragged the body to the altar. You wanted to set up someone acquainted with this masquerade.
I don't have the nerve to kill or stage a murder. I can't even leave my uncle's house.
Ich glaube, ich habe die falsche Wahl getroffen.
Your uncle is a cruel man. He used everyone around him to his advantage. I don't believe he even truly loved Fabio. You knew very little love, support, or care from him. You lost your mind, Santos. And innocent people were hurt. I can't allow you to go free, but I can try to help you. I can provide my findings to the police. Decadence and perversity might poison anyone around them.
I don't know what to say. I can't breathe. I need to go outside.
Unfortunately, you can't.
Ich kann das noch ändern?
I'll remember this horror forever.
Ich kann das noch ändern. Aber das Problem ist, es ist nirgendwo Blut gewesen am Altar. Und wenn du eine Leiche siehst und ein bisschen näher rangehst, du wirst nicht daran gehen, dass du... Es lag nirgendwo Blut. Er muss in der Nähe gewesen sein. Ich habe keine Ahnung, ich bin so unsicher. Aber ihr Lieben, ich würde sagen, ich werde hier einen Folgenpause machen. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zusehen und bis zur nächsten Folge. Ciao, ciao.